Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the More Money Show comes in. If you're ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of More Money. I'm super excited to have Paulie Rojas-Redding with us today in her first interview for the Year of Growth series. I'm so excited. Welcome, Paulie. Thank you for being here and sharing this journey with all of us.
Well, thank you, Cassie, for having me and for being my rock in so many ways.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so excited for everything that's going on in your life. Let's just start with what's awesome right now.
Okay, what's awesome right now is my mindset is killer right now. And I never thought I would ever say that I feel so good in the head.
I love it.
Yeah, I feel empowered. I feel powerful and confident and happy and very, very abundant.
Yay. Powerful, confident, happy, and abundant. That's amazing.
It's not terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, tell me, how did you find me? How did we get connected?
Okay. So this is a little embarrassing, but I'm obsessed with puzzles. And I found a friend of mine told me about this jigsaw puzzle app. And there's almost nothing I love more than puzzling and listening to a book on tape or podcasts. So I found you because I love the teachings of law of attraction and all of that. And I felt like I devoured everything and it still wasn't sufficient. And then I found you on your podcast. And so for I think a month, I went into hibernation just listening to you and doing puzzles. And what you were saying was really speaking to me about leveraging the law of attraction because I'd worked with it before. I had manifested lots of things, but I was really yearning for someone to take me to the next level. And then I found your podcast. I listened to it. I puzzled a lot. And then I decided to look you up. Yeah. And you had coaching sessions or you talk about what you offer and you add so much value that I had to check you out. And then I emailed you and then we set up a time and then I met you. And then you were amazing because you were like, I'm here for you. How can I support you? And unlike me feeling like I had so many things to talk about, I even ran out of things to say to you because you were so there that I almost I had nothing. You took it all out of me with so much patience and really with so much, I don't know, your intention is so clearly to help people and to make sure that they can go to the next level and live their dreams that it really spoke to me. I loved the way you put it and that what I really wanted was to lead a life of abundance and happiness and a killer mindset.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love
that
story. It's so fun. Yeah.
Yes.
So you have been in the Enchanted Circle for officially 91 days at this point. What would you say that feels like, or what's the biggest change?
The biggest change, here's what it feels like. It feels like walking on clouds in a way. Like I'm being held up and my steps are graceful because I'm being held up by clouds. I don't know. It's kind of this image that I have of being held up by the universe, but really the universe is this coaching group that you have of people that are like-minded, open-hearted people. So as we can all be neurotic beings, that when I come into this coaching session and I hear other people's neurosis and how they work it out and that neurosis turns into love or just a positive action or not so much action oriented, but it's the place of true spirited resilience that I hear other people's ways of going about their challenges and that it always works out and working that trust muscle that, one of the entrepreneurs who mentored me said, you are the product of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And so I feel like the coaching session is like a friend filled with the best that you are demanding of people all constantly, leading with the strengths, leading with their heart. And that's where my focus is now. And so that's really carried me through so many challenges that I've had day to day. I'm like, trust muscle, it's going to work out. I remember Nikki having this problem, or Sky going through this, and how she went through it, and everything's fine. Everything's better than fine. So really carries me through.
I love that. And it's so true, right? Like there is no better place to surround yourself with than I love it. And you're right. Like leading with your strengths, leading with your heart, like being in a space that's what surrounds you. Like it's so good. Obviously I think it's so good, but when you said that, I remember, like, that's what I wanted. It's why I created what I created, because it's when I was in your shoes, what I knew I wanted to be surrounded by those people that were doing it, that were moving forward, that were on the edge, we're getting through it, we're growing, all those things.
Right. And I love that it's not like this is advanced, this is like for beginners. It's all levels. And even someone who I would say I've been practicing it consciously for a few years, there are people that haven't been practicing for as long, or, using it consciously as long as I have. And for me, the beginners, quote unquote, teach me so much, because I've forgot so much of it from the very beginning. And so it's like learning lessons over and over through the eyes of so many different levels, I guess. So everyone belongs. And that's something that I always sought after, not just like, this is the elite group, this is the novice group.
Oh, I love that so much. It's so awesome to hear, like, what you wanted to have created reflected back from you. Like, this is as much a gift for me in this moment as for you. So thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. So tell us more about, like, what do you think is the biggest difference in the way that you practice the law of attraction? Like you said, you've been consciously doing it for a couple of years before 91 days ago when you joined the Enchanted Circle. So what do you think is the biggest difference the way you practice it, or has that changed at all? Is it just about support?
Oh yeah, there's so much more relaxation and trust, infinitely more. So I would push and push and push. That's my old story. My manifestation was like forcing it, and now it's allowing. Now it's receiving, and that's made all the difference. That's why I sleep so much better. And that's why I think I'm a better friend and a better person and a better human with lots to contribute. And owning that, I think, giving myself the permission to be able to change other people's lives by virtue of me being happy has given me so much more of a purpose in life. Even in 91 days. You did that, Cassie. Yeah.
Well, you showed up and did the work. We did it together.
We did it together. Yeah. Well, you showed me the door. So
yeah, I love that. Oh, that's so good. So good. So tell us more about you, like introduce you. I usually do this at the top, but we got right into it. So tell us just a little more about Paulie and who you do and your amazingness that you do bring to the world.
Oh, thank you, Cassie. Yes. So Paulie Rojas-Redding, and my dream, my purpose in life is to tell stories. I'm a professional storyteller. I'm an actress, and I love it with all of my heart. And as I pursue that dream, my second hobby, I guess, my other passion is entrepreneurship. And so using the skills that I've learned in the theater and masters, I do public speaking coaching for non-actors. So I love being able to use my passion and expertise for communication and storytelling to help people tell their own story and feel better, more efficient communicators.
Yes, I love that. And I want to talk a little bit about that. So you are in a place where you had done a huge money shift all on your own pre-me, right? And have been making really, a great income and doing all that. And so how did it feel being in that space going through Manifest 10K? Because I make everybody start with Change Your Money Story,
right?
Manifest 10K. And so will you talk just a little bit about what it was like to go through that process as somebody who I think has done has done a tremendous amount of work in shifting who they are in terms of money.
The biggest thing I got from Manifesting K is a greater awareness. I think that consciousness and being aware is the sexiest thing we could do.
Yes.
Yeah. And so to be able to point out why something is working and I guess the why behind it all and being able to be so acutely focused on on the fact that there is abundance everywhere, that a penny can be as good as $1,000,000 if we are as excited about it as $1,000,000, as if we celebrate it as $1,000,000. I think that what's widened is seeking out so many more opportunities for celebration and beauty in life based on what you've pointed out, and that's been the greatest shift for me, is seeing even more beauty than I saw before.
Yeah.
And how much beauty there is, and how much it comes back to me. Right.
Yeah.
That cliche of like, the more you put out, the more you get.
Yes.
But it's true. And the more I seek out love and beauty and like heartfelt people, it's just come back in crazy ways.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And we just had a discussion. I always highlight this because everybody wants to know, like, Paulie manifested $12,000, like at least, or we didn't get a total because it wasn't as, sometimes it's really about the total and sometimes it's about the experience. And I like to leave it open to both. Right. But it was funny. Like we had a conversation right before and you're like, oh yeah, I just got this contract. And I'm like, oh, there it is. There's $12,000. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, cause I think, maybe you hadn't even thought about it, because did it feel easier? Like now that you look at it, like,
yes. Easy. Definitely easier. Definitely. I love that image of, the law of attraction is like a copy machine. Like the more you think of it, the more it's right there. It's just copying what you're putting out.
Yeah.
And I got that, but it was so much more, it was easier, just more ease, more, not the panicked thoughts of, oh my God, is it going to happen? But when is it going to happen? And not worrying about the how. That's the biggest thing, actually, now that I'm talking out loud. The how doesn't really matter anymore because it's coming. And my job is to embrace it and know that's, I think, giving myself permission to love something and embrace something as opposed to chasing it away with fear, I think has been the greatest shift for me.
Oh, I love that. Talk more about the how, whatever comes to mind, and kind of what it used to be or what it is now.
You had mentioned in one of the coaching sessions that about the Michael Jordan, who, he was always a 100% like shot. Like he was going to make the net, the basketball net 100% of the time. Like he was a surefire shot 100% of the time, and that he thought of himself in that way. And that was crucial to me because I wanted to be that person, that whoever, like, I want to be the person people bet on. And the fact that you gave that image to me, like that's what Michael Jordan did, has really, I think of that all the time. How am I going to be that 100% like 3-pointer? Clearly I'm not a basketball player, but I know but that no matter what, I'm going to get there. That no matter what, I'm going to shoot the basketball and make the hoop. It does, because the hoop is huge, right?
Right.
And seeing the hoop as huge versus a tiny little improbable thing has made all the difference. Yes. Right? That life is full of giant basketball hoops.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Oh, yes. And you're right. And, just for all, I'll settle anyone's mind who's like, wait a minute. I'm not sure Jordan was a 3-point shooter, but no, it's fine. I'm just like, for those minds, I know I have a lot of basketball friends. Like if, I know what happens, but the conversation was like, I read something about Jordan one time about how many times he had, like when the game was on the line, right? And they call the play, like Jordan would see the play hundreds of times in his head before the whistle got blown and they actually did the play. And it's like, he's the person like, if Jordan's on your team, like you're always going to him for that shot. And so that was kind of like, just to give everybody else a little more window.
Better context.
Which is awesome. Like, it's awesome the way that you explained it. It's perfect. I just, I could hear my friends being like, so, but I love it. And I love that. And so I want to talk about, because I think this connects to the how, right? There was a moment where I had you stop doing a lot of things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Will you talk about that and what you thought and
Yeah.
then what happened?
Yeah. So right at the beginning, I was like, oh, Cassie, I'm the bomb at the law of attraction. I like journal all day, every day. I visualize, I meditate 4 hours a day. I do everything I could possibly do to do law of attraction. And you're like, oh, and also like, I listen to you and your podcast like 10 hours a day. And Cassie, you're like, great, don't do any of that anymore. And I was like, what? How can you like that's like my survival, right? And you were like, you need to first of all stay present and activate everything that you are visualizing and journaling, everything that you want, as if what is the feeling behind all that? And it turned out to be excitement. And so you told me to activate that feeling 5 times a day in the present moment, not in my head, right? And so I was like, oh, Cassie, how could you do this to me? And you're like, what gets you excited? And I said, okay, well, walking my dog. I love walking my dog. A cup of coffee in the morning, or watching a classic old Hollywood film. And you're like, hey, do that even more. Activate that feeling of excitement. And as I did it, not very, begrudgingly. And
It's okay to be honest.
I miss because for me, doing all of the visualization, the meditation, the journaling, all of that was almost like a shield towards the real world that I was like, almost like it was protecting me from the real world, when in truth, it's like reality is beautiful and there's everything to be excited for. Start living there and see how things manifest. And since then I've then you let me go back to journaling and like all of that stuff, and I did the scripting workshop. It was about being alive and finding the bliss in reality, and living from that place of excitement. And that's where the big shift happened for me. And it's funny, before I went to an audition, or some commercial audition for Toys R Us or something. And beforehand on the subway ride, I was like, I'm awesome. I'm the best. I'm the answer. I'm so good. I'm so good. I'm so good. And they're like, Paulie, you're next. I'm like, great. You got this, girl. Paulie, you're amazing. You're the best. And then I hear the casting director be like, Paulie, we called action. And I was like, so in my head, like, affirming all these things. I totally missed the explanation that the Toys R Us guy was saying. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't hear what did you want me to do? And he was like, oh, thank you so much, Paulie, but we're good. And I'm like, oh no, like the whole time I was affirming, like with me thinking I was working with the law of attraction, when really like life was in front of me and nothing, like I was not participating. And that was a huge, like, oh my God, I can't stay in this beautiful like headspace. Right. That was a bit of a wake up call for sure. And so now when I go to auditions, I don't think. I do all the work beforehand. I trust that I've done the scripting. and just trust that it's coming. I don't have to do anything more than just be present.
Yes.
Yeah.
So. Oh, that's huge. And so that brings me, like, I want to talk about the workshop. Like, how do you think, like, doing that before and having give up your manifesting list, like enabled you to be more open and actually like get the benefit of the workshop?
The benefit of the workshop, I feel more like, I guess to use a movie terms, like I feel like I really am the star of my movie, because I'm so moved by what is happening in front of me, versus being worried about how I'm coming off, or wanting to be the best or the most charming or the most this or the most that. Like that stuff doesn't, and those were my means to get to where I want to be, as opposed to just surrendering to who I am and trusting that I'm going to attract people that resonate with me and that are connected to what I have to offer, and not and the people who aren't resonating with me, it's not personal. I can move on to the next thing that I attract. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's the relaxation, the release of having to worry if I'm going to get there, and just being happy that it's coming and enjoying what's happening right now. Because when I do become this giant movie star and I won't have all my privacy and I won't, have all these quiet moments to myself, then I'll be appreciating exactly where I am now.
Yes. So I think what you're saying is like the biggest shift is that you're always trying to do all these things to get there, and you're
Yes.
trying to
Yes.
be these certain things because you
Mm-hmm.
thought that was what's going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And when you took the workshop, you got to see inside your life, and you got to
Mm-hmm.
know with 100% certainty, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I get there. Like that is
Right.
my life, right?
Right.
Yeah.
How would I walk differently,
Mm-hmm.
knowing 5 years from now that I have everything that I've ever wanted and more? How would that change the current moment?
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, I would be so chill. I'd be so happy. I would smile. I would be a really good listener because I'm not worried about the means to the end.
Right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So that was a huge shift from the workshop.
Yeah.
What other experiences were amazing from the workshop? Like what was the biggest aha that you had or the biggest shift?
Oh gosh. When I was working with the other people in the workshop
Mm-hmm.
and they were speaking as if they were already living their future self,
Mm-hmm.
to me, there was no difference
Right.
between who they are now and who they will be.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that made me think, well, why not me too? Why not me? Like it was something about putting on, just being that person already. There is no
Mm-hmm.
difference between who I am now and who I am in 5 years. I'm still me. So
Right.
I like feeling like I'm already there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm and also what I love about working with you, Cassie, and I mean the workshop's awesome because I get you like specialized, customized attention. Um, the way that you demand me and how I show up, and you demand the best of me. You
Mm-hmm.
demand that I only speak in terms of I'm already there.
Mm-hmm.
You look at me as if I'm already the person I've always wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And no one else, you're the only person that really does that to everyone that you work with. And that is so empowering because I take that to, as soon as we leave and I go go walk the dog, I'm going to be the person that you see me as, the
Yeah.
best that I could ever be. So,
I love that.
yeah.
And so what was the difference? Because I remember using that term, like demand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
will you say more about that and how that's different than you had been doing things before?
Sure. Before I did it all on my own, I mean, I read all the books and I was my own accountability partner. And it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to be your own accountability partner because you're just you. And if I don't do something, it's okay. But with you, I felt I want to, I didn't, not that I wanted to disappoint, but I just knew that if I could live the, and be the person that you see me as,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll get there with more delight and less effort.
Yes.
And that, gosh, to do something effortlessly and easily without having to worry, I mean, that's just heavenly.
Right. Yeah. What
Mhm.
kind of space has that opened up in your life?
Um, well, I'm happier. I don't fight as my I don't my boyfriend, I literally don't fight. Which is
Ah,
like, so that like harmony at home, harmony in the workplace. I it's everywhere. Oh my God, my relationship with my mom, with my brother, with my sister. I mean, everywhere I go. On the subway, I talk to people and we spark up conversations. I'm not just a person who keeps to herself, but I'm open to people. People come
mhm.
up to me and say lovely things that have opened up. Like, I can't even tell you how many people come up to me and say, "Wow, your energy is so like what you're such a bright light." I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah.
It's a really cool, like the universe affirming. Yeah, you're doing well, kid. Keep
Yeah.
going.
I love that. So, what are you most excited about for the next year, 9 months to a year, as we
Mm,
continue your
yeah.
the stepping into your future self and attracting what you want?
I'm really excited about all the things I'll get good at receiving. That
Mm,
I th- that I'm going to be a person that's even more accountable and more um that I give so much more value in this world, and that I'll receive, because I was very much a pusher and a giver and a giver, and I felt bad being a taker. I didn't think
mhm.
it was right to be a taker. And then So I'm excited that that is shifting, that what I'm going to receive is the best, that it's what my heart wants, whether it's
Mhm.
love or more money or, acting. Like what's going to open up to that? And I don't think it's going to be a hard journey anymore.
That's the best thing ever to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
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 Yay. So as we wrap up, I do want to ask you these last two questions. What would you name your old money story? And then I want to hear what you would name your new money story.
My old money story is, I guess, Sad Sally. Sad Sally with a sad bank account and just throw herself in the bed, sad Sally. So she's been put to bed.
Yes.
And now my new story is, I don't know. There's something about, I'm gonna give her a name. Oh gosh. I see, I don't know, maybe Happy Hannah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something joyful. It's not just
Yeah.
that I'm happy, but that really joyful and relaxed and easy.
Mm-hmm.
I love that word now, easy. And yeah, just I'm really, really excited. I've never felt better.
Yay. I'm
Mhm.
so excited. I am so I'm already, I mean, it's just 91 days and I'm like,
I
yay,
know, I can't
right?
believe it. And we were talking how, I can't believe it feels like I just started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm super excited. As we wrap up, tell people where they can connect with you if they want to connect with you.
Oh, sure. So you can find me on IMDb. You can get all my contact there at Paulie, and it's like Paulie, like
I
Paulie.
love that you said it.
Paulie, I live in New York. And Rojas, Rojas/Redding, Redding. Or if you want to learn more about public speaking, you can go to thepublicspeakingpro.com.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your journey today and agreeing to let us continue to have this
Mhm.
window into all of this awesomeness as we continue forward over the next year.
Thank you for being alive, Cassie.
Aww.
Yeah, thank you for
Pleasure.
the gift that you bring us. Truly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. My pleasure. So fun. Uh,
Yeah.
and thank you all for listening. Make sure to catch Polly's next interview in the Year of Growth series and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you for joining us on the More Money Show. To learn how to attract more money into your life, go to your favorite book retailer and order Cassie's book, Manifest $10,000.